Mm,
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Front Door Show. It is about 7:50. I always go about 10 minutes early, just to avoid any issues with the connections and stuff like that. And every day we're doing this show here on Facebook Live and Zoom. And if you guys have never seen the show before, what I do is I interview awesome people in the business. And today we have a legend, and I say legend because he's been around for quite a while, Enrique Tobias. So, and just in case people don't know who you are, as I tell everybody, while you're introducing yourself and kind of give you a little intro of you, I'm going to go ahead and create my watch party for Witchcraft. So, Enrique,
right.
take it away.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor knowing you for so many years. Actually, when you were DJing, I was doing it the other side, and it was kind of a. You don't meet all these people because you guys were busy in other things, and I was doing doing my things in other places. My name is Enrique Tobias. Same name as a DJ, Enrique Tobias. I was trying to look for one as a DJ name, but gotta start with my name. Originally from Chicago, raised in Mexico. Both parents from Mexico, and just came to the States around, I would say 91. That's when I came to the States, and Chicago especially. Yeah, beautiful city, and it's been my Chicago forever, actually.
All right. So, Enrique, I'm gonna. So, were you coming from Mexico? Did you start DJing in Mexico, or did you start DJing here?
When I started in Mexico, I was well, it's called high school here, but it's preparatory in Mexico. I had a couple of DJ friends, and we started with with vinyls actually, but it was kind of hard to find the music that they were playing. So I started there with little vinyls, little by little. I was just a little amateur guy, but then I came to the States, to Chicago actually, and that's when around the 90s the CDs started. So I would travel to Mexico to grab CDs because it was easier to find CDs in Mexico, especially the music that I was playing on, which is rock en español. But that's where I started actually in Mexico with vinyls. Not I didn't get so much experience on it, but yeah, basically that's where I started around, I would say 88, 89.
Okay. So, this is going to be kind of important question because I know in Mexico, different cities play different music. Am I correct about this? I mean, different states and stuff like that. It kind of
It does in a
in
way.
Jalisco.
Well, it depends. Usually in the big cities, it will be the same music. There was a lot of music from the era, English music, Spanish music. Well, basically more English, but it was in the cities. But like in the little towns and little ranches, the ranchos como les llaman, they were playing more like Mexican music, that's what they call it. For example, regional
Yeah,
music, right? For
regional.
example, my family is from Monterrey.
But okay, so what?
Go ahead.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. You came from Monterrey, and was that really big in the Spanish rock out
Uh,
there in Monterrey?
Watching in Monterrey, I was a little kid. I was raised mostly in San Luis Potosí.
Okay.
Around the 80s, there was a label that it was called Rock en tu idioma, and that Rock en tu idioma, it was mostly like a lot of Argentinian uh, groups from Spain. So the movement started down there, supposedly started in Argentina, and then all of a sudden, you know how Mexico is. If you make it in Mexico, you make it everywhere. So one of the first groups
Yep.
that started going to Mexico was Soda Stereo. So Soda Stereo came with some concerts, and boom, it just went like that. I mean, that's when the rock and español started. And all this, there were a lot of Mexican groups that also started popping out all of a sudden. And yeah, it will say it will come around 80, 83, 84. And especially when that label
Okay.
came out, that's when everything started. Yeah.
Right. So when you came here to Chicago, there wasn't a Spanish rock market here, correct?
Not at all. There was none. There was none. Man. You're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh even harder. When I came to the States, I went to college, and there was these people that are like, "Oh, let's go and then some salsa." I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know what salsa was. I didn't know what merengue was. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, okay, let's just go. So all of a sudden, I hear these groups, the '90s salsa, and I was in shock. Man. It was like I never heard the music before. You know, I was trying to see. I thought they were playing with me because the salsa is just something that you eat, your tacos. But it was just surprisingly. And then in college, I met Silvestre Saucedo, a really good friend, and Javier Herrera, and that's when we were talking about. Well, we were talking about rock en español, and I asked him, "Is there any parties or clubs that they play this music?" Like, no, there's none. And we had the idea to start it, and boom, that's when we started. We started on exactly on February 5th, '93. We started Apollo on Apollo 2000. That's when,
So it was Apollo 2000. That's what it was called back then,
right,
right? Or
right.
is it just was called
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Apollo
Yeah,
2000?
Apollo 2000. Yeah, and Cermak.
And right, right. Cermak by Sacramento, right
Right,
there
right.
by Sacramento. It was a big place too. I remember that
Yeah, it's
because,
huge, man. Yeah,
and I
we
remember it was kind of known for the cotillions that they used to have
right.
there. They used to book
Yeah,
weddings and stuff
and I
like
think they
that.
still do it. Yeah, because another good friend, DJ Zapata, he was the DJ there. So when we started, we took a guy, and then unfortunately we didn't click with the owner, and so we had to we left Apollo, but he started doing his own nights, and after that we went to Tequila. Remember Tequila Club on
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee? It was in Milwaukee, close to Ketsi. We,
Ah,
yeah.
so you
Sorry.
invaded the industry of Spanish rock. Okay, that's a
Well,
so you were doing
yeah, we started it, and it was. I think we didn't know there were so many people that were listening to this type of music. So when people started hearing about it and this and that, they were showing up, or sometimes we got the places that were so full, and we were surprised. I mean, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
well. I remember personally. I remember at that time in '93, I had left Malos and I was doing Quintu. Or it
Sorry.
might have been sorry, no
Go ahead. Go
problem.
ahead. Sorry, I'm listening. I have a little cough.
I think it was you said it was '93 that you started your events there, right?
Night. You're right.
At the
Tequila,
Apollo.
the Apollo, right? And then we went to Tequila some months after, and we
Okay.
stayed. We stayed there for a year, I think.
Okay. So I remember the comment of when I drove by because I used to live over by 25th and Oakley, and we
Oh
used to
yeah.
go to past Malos, and I remember driving past the Apollo, and I was saying I used to tell everybody, "Hey, what's going on there?" Because everybody's dressed in black with black
Black, right?
lipstick, and it was like that very goth. And I remember, and
Yeah.
somebody mentioned to me, "Oh, they play rock in Spanish," and I never, I never heard of rock in Spanish, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, okay," and I'm thinking, this, I heard of alternative music, and that's kind of what
Right.
I thought it was.
Right.
But
Right.
then
Right.
I could clearly see that it was all Latinos and the alternative that was a very mixed crowd. So I was like, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And then if you left Apollo and you went to Tequila's, which
Mhm.
is on Milwaukee, right? It was it
Right. It
was
was in
it was
Milwaukee. Right.
on
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
We were there for more than a year, and there were two floors, and we used to pack them, because people were coming from Aurora, Indiana, just people that like this type of music. It was mostly '80s and '90s, and it's just all this out, and then we started doing concerts. Actually, we were the ones who did the first festival, rock en español, here in Chicago. We brought some groups, it was Cadillacs. Let me see. I think I have him here. It was Cadillacs, Phobia, La Lupita, and Santa Sabina, and then we also have some groups, some local groups, but there were so many of them. Really good. I mean, really good bands here locally. And that's how it was called Jets Productions, JEC, Javier, Enrique, and Silvestre. And our name was kind of big, but the big promoters here started getting those groups, like, well, the owners of the Aragon, the owners of this place. So we were just a little, even though we started all this movement, we couldn't afford to get all these big groups, because even though we brought them, they signed contracts for the other ones. So we were young,
Right.
and we didn't know what to do.
Well, when you say you did the first concert with
Festival.
Phobia and Las Cadillac, the festival, where
Mhm.
was that at? Where was the festival at
Yeah, it
exactly?
was a Garibaldi.
Okay.
It was on August 1993. And around that time, I met one of my best friends, Jackie. She was working at this newspaper, and he was the owner or co-owner of the old Garibaldi. So she gave him the idea. He liked the idea a lot. He heard about us. She recommended us, and that's when it was in August. We have over 5K people there.
Who was the owner of the
I,
newspaper? What was
I,
it?
I forgot his name, and it's been so many years. Yeah, he had a newspaper. The newspaper was on Cermak in
Wasn't he the owner
California.
of La Raza? Wasn't he
Uh,
the owner of La Raza newspaper?
no, it was a different newspaper. It was a different one.
Okay.
It was more.
Uh,
It was just a little newspaper that they give on the neighborhoods, and the little ones that they have. It wasn't that big. La Raza was big, actually. We have so we purchased
okay.
some stuff from them as well. But after that, there was a guy who joined us, and that's where the problems started with us. So we all got separated. Some of my friends got married and stuff like that, and I stayed as a DJ. and
Okay.
and I was doing concerts. I was doing some concerts with DJ Zapata and other DJs. And at the same time, when I was doing that, I was traveling. I went to play for Enanitos Verdes and Soda Stereo in San Diego, Bonita, California, and then New York, Miami, and mostly California, because rock and español in California was huge. It was huge
Okay.
on the late '90s. It was something else. And when I used to travel there just to play, that's when you start meeting all these groups. So here we play for several groups at the Aragon. That's because it wasn't that big. Now, for example, we play for Mana a few times there. Now they go to a Allstate Arena, and they were playing at the
I know.
Aragon.
I know.
And, yeah, and they also play at the Apollo. Obviously it's smaller. It wasn't that even. It was maybe like three-quarters packed, but nobody knew about them. So when you start, you know, pushing the rock and español and stuff like that, the groups just start coming up. So that's why I stayed as a DJ, because I mean it definitely was a good business, but it was always my passion. Rock and español was just like my thing. And around that time, I was playing with House of Blues, also with DJ Zapata. We played for several groups, Caifanes and all those guys. And I met a guy that I was working for Retila magazine. Retila magazine was a rock en español a magazine. His name is Eduardo Calvillo, Resistor 5000. And actually, he started Ruido Fest. I know have you heard about Ruido Fest?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah. He's
Exactly.
he's he's the one who started on 2015. Now, I mean, we became really good friends, and he started giving me also concerts to go to. I mean, to play. And then I have a little place when we got all separated. So I started doing the concerts, and I was playing on different clubs. But all of a sudden, there were like 1,000 broken Espanol DJs. It was like
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, I play this, I play that. The funny part is that unfortunately these guys, they didn't even know how to speak Spanish. It's like, okay. Sometimes I would ask them, hey, can you play this song?
Hey, I don't know
No,
how to speak
I'm just
Spanish.
saying. No, I'm just saying. No, I would ask him in Spanish. Say, can you play this for me? It's like, oh, I don't speak Spanish. I'm like, okay, or you're a rock and español DJ. But the music that they were confused on is they call pop. There was pop en español, right? And
Right.
it was more danceable. So they call it rock and, they played rock en español, and they were playing the same songs I played those songs even before, but it was nice to hear these songs. But sometimes when you're a DJ, you don't even pay attention, right? You just enjoy it for a little bit, and you see all the crowd dancing. But when you hear it on the side from all the DJs, like, oh shit, this is a nice beat and everything else. But mostly for these guys, it was pop en español. It wasn't even rock en español. And there
Right,
were some guys,
right.
unfortunately, there were some guys that will go where the real rock en español that we were playing, and they said, "Oh, these guys play the same as you, blah blah." I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm not gonna hate on people that they're trying to get this movement, up there. And there were all of a sudden there were a lot of promoters. You guys were Cuatro Fantásticos were Palladium, right?
Yeah, we were at Palladium for
Right,
Fantastic. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I enjoy going there because you guys play all the rock and pop en español. I didn't have to do anything, just enjoy myself. Because I took a little break. I mean, sometimes you get burned out. And yeah, when you guys were there, I was happy. With
Well,
Alex,
Alex Dracula,
right,
Alex
right.
Dracula, and then
Uh,
Viento. Viento was
Viento,
our
right.
Viento was the guy who was the hardcore Spanish rock guy.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there was a lot of history to Spanish rock, and I didn't know it,
Mm.
and Fantasma didn't know it, but Alex and Viento knew
Yeah,
the history and stuff like that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I get it because
Sorry,
because
sorry.
I get it because like when I talked about salsa, let's say salsa, we're talking about the history.
Right.
There's they would tell me, oh no, this is who this is, and this is the brother, and this is the cousin, and this is and I'm like, oh okay, and Los Personores, oh yeah,
Right, right, right.
like, and these are from Spain, they're not from Mexico, and I'm
Right,
like,
right. Yeah.
oh okay,
Okay. Sounds the
from,
same.
these are from Argentina, like
Right.
I like, oh, okay, because immediately a lot of people finish Spanish rock. Oh, it's from Mexico, period. And that's
Yeah, that's
it.
what I think. Yeah. No, there was. I
And
mean,
it,
it was in Latin America and also Spain. There were really, really good groups. Because I heard one time Alex, he was playing rock urbano, which is from Mexico. I was really impressed. It was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know that music, and vientos as well. So that's why I used to go with you guys because I was enjoying the night and just like have a ring with the friends and this and that, and like it's completely different. So then I don't know, you guys went somewhere else because I started working with
what we
Leon and
is,
Beto.
right. And so what was funny is that we had a place that was big enough for a mosh pit too. So that was
I know those matches. Yeah, when that started, man, I was like, all right, nice seeing you guys. I gotta go. Yeah, that was in every concert,
and that
man.
was over.
Yeah,
But it was funny because I remember, I mean, the place is huge. It fit 1,800 people,
yeah, I know, yeah.
and we had that mosh pit with 100 people minimum,
That
100
was
people in the
so
middle,
bad. Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
it
Every
was
time
just
that it
it was just
started, that I was like, let's go, let's get out of here. But it was part. It was part of the movement. It was part of the rock en español or the rock urbano that they call it.
right.
Because when I took that little break, I started working for Congress Theater at the
Okay.
concerts. So I was usually in the lobby, and then I met the Cruz, another friend. Um, I met him, and he was doing video mixing. That was awesome, man. I mean, he started doing that, but he started doing it in the hall with on the big screen. And sometimes the Congress will not open the door so I can have people drinking at the lobby, and sometimes people would stay there all night. I'm like, the concert is on, guys. Just go and see it. Like, no, you're playing good music that we enjoy, and they will stay there. I miss so many concerts because of this. And even the owner like, keep playing, keep playing. He's like, dude, I want to enjoy the concert. I want to go backstage. I want to be a groupie. I made so many, but it was a really good experience because we played for Drake, Paulina Rubio, Alejandro Guzman, Moenia, uh, Elefante. There were a lot of them. There were a bunch of them. Maldita Vecindad, we played also with them. there was, I mean, all the nice groups. The Yes Zapata is the one who invited us as well. And but it was, yeah, when you see all those Gothic guys that you mentioned, you just, it was just part of the obscure scene of rock en español, no? But yeah, because it was,
Well, I mean, what I remember is that in the Spanish rock groups, it was like a family. And when I mean a family, you had Club Caifanes, you had that group of people that used to
right,
always come out, and you know who was going to be there,
right, right.
and I don't know if you remember when they used to do Spanish rock events over at the Aragon. I used to, and not only that, I don't know if you remember when they used to bring the groups to Discolandia on 26th Street.
Oh, well, Frankie Jimenez was the owner.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, of course, yeah,
And because that was the wild part about it, because I knew so many of the rock and Espanol people, they used to hire me like to do security, not security in a sense, but kind of crowd control
well,
per
control, right,
se.
right, right, right,
Because if it'd be one thing if a police officer or security guard say, yo, slow down.
right, right, right,
They
right.
would know, they would act differently. But if it's me, because they knew me from Palladium,
From Canadian, right,
from all the events at the Aragon and all the stuff, they say, oh yeah, well it's Prieto telling us to slow down. So hey,
right, right,
and at many times, I mean, where Paulino Rubio was
right.
there, and it was 3,000 people in the
What?
streets.
Yeah, I know. Also with Caifanes,
I mean,
man, it was just crazy, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Enrique, all these guys.
There
Oh my
was
God,
this
God, it was.
actually Frank Jimenez. I saw him like a couple of maybe like 2 3 years ago. We were in a restaurant. He came up to us. He, some of my friends like, "Are you Enrique Tobias?" And like, yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I'm the guy. This Colande, this and that." Well, we all have long hair now. Everybody is like short hair, like an old man, And he started telling me about that. So it was a nice memory because he had Caifanes. He had a lot of people there. His sisters has one. They have one on Cicero as well. I think it was Cicero on Cermak, something like that. So when he told me
Yeah,
about those,
sister, right across the street from the ball there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he was showing me some of the pictures from how do you call it? He was showing the pictures from Caifanes. Remember the place that it was? I think that was the Oak Theater, something like that, on Milwaukee and Western.
Yeah, yeah. The theater,
Uh,
correct.
right. Monroy. He brought him. He brought him. I played with that. I played in that concert with a guy from Mexico and another DJ, and that's when I played with. I played for Caifanes. At the same time, they started bringing people that were playing alternative in English. So he started bringing the both markets. But when I when I was playing rock in español, some of the alternative guys like, take that blah 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 blah. They didn't like it. And the rock in español guys didn't like the alternative, so it was a little. But after a while, they started accepting more gender, both types of music.
You're talking about Pablo Punk Out Gonzalez and Frankie V, because they were the
Frankie
ones who were
B,
doing the
Frankie,
alternative like the Oak.
right,
Right.
right, Frankie B. Actually, I saw that you have Julio Sierra. Julio Sierra played with us. Yeah, he played with us a
Okay.
few times. Yeah, I mean, I even have it on some flyers. Julio Sierra. Remember Miguel Madhouse?
Yes, I remember
Yeah,
Miguel.
yeah. We became really good friends. So he was playing with us as well. Then Minor, remember Minor?
Yep.
Clyburn with Liam and his partner. I was DJing there with DJ Pesado, a guy from Mexico, excellent DJ.
Yep.
Roberto Lara and DJ Galletas. We became really good friends as well. So it was four of us. But when he started playing, when they changed the music, fights, man. There was a lot of fights. They put a lot of tropical music upstairs. It was a lot of fights every weekend or
But,
every other weekend,
but
man.
what music was he playing that became fights? I mean, what was it?
They were playing tropical music and house freestyle music.
Oh, okay,
So the
okay, all right,
the crowd is completely different. It's
right.
completely different. And it was just it was bad. A lot of even some of my friends they got into fights because of the crowd.
There's
They
a
were playing
conflict of crowds per se.
Yeah, that was. I mean, they were completely different, and they were complaining about the music and this and that. Like, dude, just enjoy whatever they play. I always say it like that. But yeah, and then there was another. I mean, I left them because it was a lot, man. It was a lot. It's just a lot of
Well,
lights.
I think what happens, I think that's why when
Go
we
ahead. I'm sorry.
no, when we came up with Los Cuatro Fantastico DJs, we did play a variety of music. But if you
Yeah, remember?
remember,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it was 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that, 20 minutes. I had a rule
That
that
was a
every
good one.
DJ won 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes.
Right, right.
So kind of what happened is that I had a DJ playing for an hour. He was told to play even though it was going crazy, 20 minutes, you're gonna change the style of music. So I think
Okay.
it was like, I'll give you an example. I played salsa, merengue, reggae, that's
Right,
20, 20, 20, right?
right,
And
right,
then
right.
here comes Fantasma named Spanish pop, house, progressive. And then here comes
Aggressive, right?
Alex.
Remember that?
He goes cumbia, rock, and then he does alternate, and then viento, and we were rotating kind of in that direction over 20, 20 minutes. So nobody got pissed off because you knew people would be like, okay, you know what? I don't like this music right now, but I know in 20 minutes there's going to be other music coming that I like, and that's how we didn't get the fights. We didn't have fights there
I
for the
know, man. You guys had a nice and calm. It was enjoyable. As long as you walked in, you can even feel the vibe. And I'm telling you, as a DJ, you were feeling the vibe. Some stuff will go to other places. Uh, there always somebody who's gonna hate you or doesn't like you because you're blah blah. Even DJs. But with you guys, as long as I walk in, has to go and this and that, and then boom, enjoy it, and you guys until the beginning, at the end. It was because of the change of music that you guys have. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
But I also think, and one of the things, I don't know, did you ever DJ with us when we did the open invitation nights? Did you ever come out to those when we would invite
Uh,
DJs to come in and play? Like we'll have a night of open DJ night. So we would literally have from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock, DJs come in. So Victor Salazar
Salazar,
came,
right? Yeah,
yeah, yeah, um, um, you know,
yeah, that's
house
right.
DJs,
Salazar,
and,
right?
and that's
Yeah.
how we discovered Fuego, DJ Fuego. That's how we discovered
Oh my
him,
God, DJ
and then
Fuego.
we had, I mean, just
he,
a
he plays
variety of
on hard
people.
one, man. He plays on hard rock in español.
Oh, he's like deep. Oh, but if you remember, and not to change the subject about the rock music, but then there was English rock that got into like kind of that rock music as well.
Yeah,
Netzer
yeah,
Ebb,
yeah, yeah.
what's his name? Beautiful People. What's his name?
Uh,
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn
Manson,
Manson.
right, 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 right.
Marilyn Manson and
Everything,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
And
So
people liked it. That's when you start seeing all those people. Yeah, people you never see in your
right,
life. You're like,
because
whoa.
and that's where I seen kind of Spanish rock and rock music. I mean, there was some history that I would hear about this guitar player from the English rock was actually from Mexico. He was part of the rock scene, like, and I was like, who was
Yeah.
that? There's somebody else in guitar that's really good. That he was like, oh no, man, he's from Mexico. He's from Mexico City, and he's like a rockero. He like, and just hearing the stories, and Alex used to tell me everything.
Right, right, right.
Dracula used to tell me everything,
Yeah,
and I just found it amazing because I found it how close knit
yeah.
English rock music was to the Spanish rock music,
Hmm.
and a lot of the band members were in that scene from the Spanish rock, and I guess that's where it kind of just morphed into a lot of stuff. And what I remember, what I used to love about the crowd is there's a mosh pit going on, right? I remember someone fell down. If someone fell down in the mosh pit, they would be like, whoa, 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 let's pick him up.
Pick him
Let's
up.
help him
Yeah,
up. They wouldn't just,
yeah.
they weren't cruel. They would
Right,
be just
right,
like, they would be like, come on, get up, get up. You
no,
lose your beeper
right.
all the
Your beeper, right? They were looking for your beeper.
time. You lose your beeper. Trust me.
Yeah.
So many times I lost my beeper twice. Alex
That was
Perez lost
amazing.
his beeper 4 times. 4 times. He lost his beeper 4 times. Viento lost his beeper like 3 times.
Yeah, everybody
So we
did,
all
man. Yeah.
we are,
Even though you put a nice clip and you do all these things, it was gone. Especially when you were playing. There was a finance concert. I was backstage. Unfortunately, I got a little drunk, and one of the guitars is like, "Come on, come on, come on, come on!" And he's like, "What? Jump! I dare you to jump!" I was like, "I don't have some blues. Everybody was catching you, passing you around. You know, I'm always been skinny. It's just like a little piece of rag." I ended up on the floor, and there were two girls who picked me up because they stop. I mean, like you said, they will stop. If you're on the floor, they will stop and they will pick you up. Because I mean, they started pushing the guys. Somebody's on the floor, and just pick you up. After that, I will
right,
never. I
right.
did.
That's it. And
I
that's
never did it again. It was bad, man. You know. But and after that, I don't think
that was
I believe I didn't have any drinks after that because it was pretty bad. I was looking at the Caifanes concert. It was in '94. I'm looking at
wow.
yeah, 94, man. That was a good one. Oak Theater,
Got
there
the
you
flyer
go.
flyer there?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah,
Got the flyer there?
yeah, yeah,
Let's see it. Let me see what
yeah.
it look like. It looks like. Let's see. I
That's Caifanes,
oh wow.
and that's the info.
Wow.
They're the DJ names.
Nice, nice,
I
nice.
started putting there because, well, you know, just to make history for your own. And actually, this one helped me to go to Miami. There was a lot of Spaniards, Colombians, Argentinians, a lot of South American guys. So now when I was playing when I was playing like this type of music with beats, they will get crazy, man. I mean, they will fly me from Chicago like maybe like once, twice a month, just for special events. There I met a lot of Paulina Rubio, the Iglesias brothers, Enrique, and all of them. A lot of
Right.
people, you know, because it was a Spaniard restaurant. It was in South Beach. That's it. You know, so people will go and line up just to listen to rock en español. Unfortunately, there was this guy who started hating. Uh, he made a trick on me. Disconnected some of the CD players because I was playing with CDs, and all of a sudden people start booing. So when I try to, you know, you get a little crazy and a little panicky because you're playing all of a sudden it stops. He was disconnecting everything. The manager got so mad that he let me go. You know, like maybe you're drunk and you're not doing this and that. I wasn't even drinking. I barely drink, and I got kicked out. And he stayed with the place, but my ex brother-in-law was working there. He told me he wasn't playing what people wanted, which was rock en español. He was playing more
Right.
like you said, rock and English stuff like that. But like now, it was rock en español that started really hard on the states. Here in Chicago when we started, and actually before I started, I forgot to tell you, I went to see a Miguel Mateos and Duncan Du at Chicago Theater. It was not even it wasn't not even half full because people didn't know who they were. Just I think there were maybe like 300 the most, and that's when they gave me the idea of starting the rock in Espanol. Like, well, there are some people I don't know where they're coming from, but and that's how it started. Yeah. Let me see who started with Leon. Remember Leon, right? He had Village
Leon
Cafe.
Diaz? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
remember Village Cafe? I worked with them for a
Mhm.
few times. Then I think we took after a concert we took Café Tacuba there when they started because they came to Los Globos. Los Globos. That place was that was a really good concert. It was Radio Arte brought them. Radio Arte
And
90.5.
that was what group was that that they brought
Café
to Los
Tacuba.
Globos?
Café Tacuba.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now look at those guys. Oh, from Los Globos to there. Yeah.
I got to talk to Adam Unreal because I'm friends with Adam, the owner of Los
Oh,
Globos. I'm
really?
friends with him.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he
we're
will
still
have a stuff.
friends. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
yeah. So
good guy. I mean, he gave the chance to Radio Arte to do it there, you know, because he was afraid like, oh, nobody's
right.
gonna come. Who are these guys? Blah blah. And all of a sudden, it was packed. It was a good concert from those guys. Yeah.
Hold on. This
Sure.
oh, Leon just takes me happy birthday.
Oh.
And, thank you, Leon. Thank you.
Leon.
Ah, thank you, Leon. Thank you. So
Nice
I
guy.
remember you. I remember, and that was kind of how I got into more the, because I don't know if you knew that, but I got involved with Telly and Rick Torres doing Spanish rock over at this place called Pirámide Azteca, and
Was it?
that
What was the
was
name?
close to
The name of the place?
Pirámide Azteca. It used to be on
Oh,
Archer Avenue near
Archer,
Western.
right? Yeah, with Telly.
Right,
Wow.
right. And we were doing Thursday nights there. We were doing
Why?
Thursday, and
Why?
honestly, and the reason why I said, listen, and I told Telly and Rick Torres. Remember, Rick Torres had
Victoria's,
his
yeah,
own print shop. He had his
yeah.
own printing.
For printing, right,
So
right.
I remember we were talking about it. I said, listen, I go, everybody's doing Fridays and Saturdays. Let's do something completely different. Let's not do the same night because too much competition out there.
It was, it was,
I didn't
yeah,
want to do so we started doing Thursdays there. And I remember it picked up,
yeah.
and yes, Dinamico remembers that. He just said, Pramasteka,
And
only
dynamic.
TKOs. Yes, it was. Yes.
TKOs, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
Owned by
wow.
Yo-Yo. You
Yo,
remember
yo.
Yo-Yo?
Yo, yo.
So, so I was playing at Quinn 2 DJ, and that had to been about, excuse me, about 93, 94 when I started playing Quinn 2. But I think I hooked
Mm,
up in 95 is when I started doing the Spanish rock events
Spanish,
with
right, right,
Telly. But remember, I wasn't a DJ for Spanish rock. I just remember I was just supporting the
from
event. I
right.
was still doing vinyl music. But I was there helping promotion and marketing and stuff like that. And honestly, the very first time that I got to see a Spanish rock group, I went to I want to say it was Allstate Arena. I see Mana for the first time. And it wasn't the fact that Mana was the group. It was all the women that were there and the crowd. I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah,
wow.
that, yeah.
I said right then and there, I like Spanish rock. So because women were
Yeah,
wow. I
fanatic
mean,
to it. You'll be surprised. Yeah, some of my friends was like, "Oh, Enrique Tobias has a party. Let's go." Because besides the Spanish rock, a lot of friends, female friends. Actually, there were more females than guys, and just picked up like that. It was
yep.
surprising that women follow so much rock in Espanol. I was like,
Oh
whoa.
my God. It was crazy. I was that made me, that convinced me right there and then. I was like,
That's my thing.
yes,
Yeah,
that was it. And then
the,
I remember when I was there at Piramide Azteca, that's when Alex Perez made the mistake and showing me the CD players, the Pioneer
I don't-
502s,
wow.
and that was it. That created my whole,
Right,
and
right,
that's how I made started doing merengue and salsa and stuff like that. That
right,
was
right,
it.
right, right.
I basically seen what I can do with my CDs because I never, I always it was always vinyl, and for the first time, I was like, oh, and then I remember in particular one of the songs. I go, hey, I got a mix I can do with this, and it was Manas's song into take on me,
Taking
and
me right, right,
because of
yeah,
the loop,
the loop.
yeah, and it was like, and I remember I says, hey, let me do it over there at Pyramida, and I did it right. So at that time it was Spanish rock and nobody mixed English stuff, right?
English,
So I
right,
did it to take
right.
on me, and I remember Alex Perez telling me, he goes, oh, that sounded pretty good. Oh, okay. And sure enough, I hear him do it every so often. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, he made some. He started making the remixes per se, and the intros and outros and stuff like that. And I
Right.
was like, okay, this is
Okay.
good. This is a good sign.
Yeah. No, and once again, like I expect, like you said, sometimes you'll be creative, and other DJs will start, well, once again, like playing the same music that you were playing, and probably they were master or something. I don't know what they were doing, Because some DJs that that were not even DJs, and all of a sudden they were working for this company B5, something like that, and they were playing rock in
Hmm.
español, and like, oh, this guy plays better than you, blah blah. Like, I don't even know who they are. I mean, I just know that they play at this place with Frank, and they even offered me a job, but I was in my prime. I was just traveling, Otherwise, I would play for them, but I started traveling a lot. And like, no, I'm not interested, and that was my thing, travel as a DJ, and that's what kept me going actually. And when I was in San Diego playing for Soda Stereo, we were talking to him, well, we were drinking with him actually, and when he heard me playing, he's like, sometimes we don't know the DJs that they mix the type of music, the rock and español music, because they don't hear it. They just, there's a group, and they start giving you compliments. It's like keep going. You got a good ear, and this and that. So that's why I didn't stop. And actually, it's been 28 years, 28. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, and you started DJing at 2 from the way you look.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was when I met all these DJs. I also met I work at Lalo's restaurant. Lalo's on Clybourne
Okay.
on the basement. It was always crowded. We always have a line, and this and it was a little basement. And I met Cesar Perez, another good friend, and he was playing. I was playing. I started playing tropical music. I don't know how. I don't even remember how I started playing that music because he asked me, "Hey, can you play this music?" Like, well, no. So I receive a lot of promotion CDs from the companies, from the music companies, and I had a bunch of CDs. So I started listening to, started getting the taste of it. So when I started playing at Lalo's, I met Cesar Perez. I introduced him to rock and español and everything else, and we click. We were there for 5 years, and again, other DJs. I play for free, blah blah. So what happens? Thank you guys. Bye. So I started getting the DJs for playing for free, and then I started playing at Sipo Lounge with DJ Del Cruz, Son Damon, and what is it? Damon and close to Irving Park. It's a really small lounge. I started what in 2009. I used to pack
Okay.
it. It was the capacity was 220, but it was just like,
Wow.
yeah, it was. We used to pack. I packed it probably for 3 years. So I was there for 11 years. For 11 years, and I was doing like a once a month rock en español, because again, you see a lot of guys doing a rock en español, and people were getting bored of it, and as well, you start getting burned. You don't want to go and this and that. So like, okay, I do it once in a while. But what I heard from people or friends, the guys that were playing rock en español, they were starting playing more like tropical music. And some people were a little disappointed, like, oh, I thought you guys were gonna play rock en español. And they would play the basic like Maná and Caifanes, the same songs, right, that you hear up there. And at the same time, just
Right.
like, okay, there's nothing that I can do. If you guys want to come to where 'cause I would say I play 100% rock and pop, and that's sometimes one of my friends would play maybe like a cumbia or a bachata or merengue or something or ADM, but it was probably was like 99% that we played rock and pop. So that's what I was telling people. If you really want to enjoy the music, just come here. If you go to other places, just expect to dance merengue or this and that, which is good because people want to go and dance. But there were some other people that they definitely wanted to listen to just rock in español. That's why I was there on that lounge. It was a small place. And then my friend the Cruz, he was doing the videos, and some of these people that I met, um, they were raised in Mexico like myself. There were bars to Mexico that were called video bars. They would play videos, MTV in Espanol. They had the
Hmm.
MTV in Espanol. So they have all these groups. People would just go be there and would go to the bar, drink, watch videos, and listen to rock en Espanol. So David was doing that, and then Cesar Perez was continue doing also the video mixing, and all of a sudden again everybody's doing it, and but hey, as long as people enjoy themselves, I don't care how many people DJ rock en español.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me tell you where I seen the resurgence of Spanish rock. And that had to be in about 2009, 10 ish, you were saying, is I got hired as a DJ at Circuit Nightclub, which was the gay
Circle.
night,
Right, I
Circuit
remember
Nightclub.
that. Yes. Belmont.
And yeah, Belmont and
Boys
Halsted.
Town. Boys Town, right?
And it was yep.
I
And Mike
remember.
Machiarello, one of the classic DJs here in Chicago. And if anybody knows who Mike Machiarello is,
Yeah.
um, Mike Machiarello was a disco DJ back in the days, and he was like one of the guys who were instrumental to the disco. If you look anything about Mike Machiarello, he was the owner of Circuit Nightclub. True story.
Nice.
I went in there to get hired. They were doing a Thursday night, Latin night. They were doing their drag show. And I walked in there, and it's a true story. I'm going to tell exactly how it happened. I get there, and I'm looking for Mike, and one of his managers says, Mike will be with you 1 second. He's in the office. So I'm there, and this little guy starts looking at me, trying to talk to me, right? And I'm like, oh, and he asks me like, do you want to dance? And I'm like, oh no, thanks
No,
you.
thank you.
And he goes, hey, I'm being kind, and and
Right, right.
I didn't say anything else. And then I kind of went to the other side of the club, and the guy is following me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, now I know what it feels like to get stalked. But then the DJ, he's playing a cumbia mix. And I'm hearing the mix, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Whoa.
I know that mix. It's my mix. It's the one from Mas Caliente, right? It's my mix. So I hear the blends, boom, boom, boom. This is Mas Caliente. And Mike comes out, I go, hey man, thank you for inviting me, but your DJ is playing my mix. And he goes, really? I go, yeah, he just played my mix right now. And then he changed the music. He walks up to the DJ booth, and Mike goes, hey, Louis, that cumbia mix, did you do it? And he goes, no, my cousin from California, she sent me this mixtape. And he goes,
wow.
Well, let me see the mixtape. He pulls out the mixtape and says, DJ Prieto on it, right? And he's like, you're hired. All right. Okay. So I said, okay, Mike, I know what to do here. We're gonna do, because they always had the drag show at midnight with Miss Kitty,
right?
And and I says, I'm going to get the Cuatro Fantásticos in here with me.
Nice.
Because I think this is going to work well. And at the time it was Eclipse, Marshall, Phantasma, and Dracula. It was getting those guys in as well. I think Viento he got married or moved out,
right,
or moved away or something like that. Yeah. And then I said, so I remember, and I remember Alex Perez, true story about Alex Perez. Alex Perez walked into place and he goes, oh man, Angelo, he goes, I don't know, man, if I can do this. I go, why? He goes, just the culture I grew up with. This is not what we're used to, seeing, a lot of gay people. And I was like, no, man, trust me, you're in the booth. They'll enjoy your music. Mm-hmm. Alex goes downstairs to the bar and says, give me a shot. Give me another one. And then he says, give me a beer. He does 3 beers in a row, real quick, right?
That was so bad.
He plays cumbia, Spanish pop, and el rock en español. Floor is going nuts. Wow. Everybody's going nuts. And this is right before the drag show, right? The place is going nuts and stuff like that. He comes down the stairs where I'm at. I'm watching the crowd. He comes and he goes, dude, I love the place. I'm always here. Don't worry about it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is great. And then I started laughing at myself because I said, oh yeah. I says, because you know what? But man, did that crowd eat it up, and they loved it. And especially Paulina Rubio, all the shows that they would do, the Gloria Trevi, they would do them, and then that's man, they would latch onto all these artists as well.
Yeah, like I tell you'll be surprised how many people, even people that you don't expect, they love it. It's just
and that's where I seen Spanish rock even blow up even more, because I remember and then I remember I think it was Thalia that came to because at that time the radio station was with David what's his name?
Oh,
Ah,
I know
God.
which one you're talking about. What was his name?
It was
What's his last name?
uh, Marco. What was his name? 'Cause Marco usually like Marco's always like Marco Hernandez always like gives
Hernandez,
it.
right?
Yeah,
San
yeah, yeah,
Marco.
yeah. No, no, but it was I
What's his-
remember the radio station. It was blue and white. God, Marco, come on, tell me who it
He
was.
was like,
His name
I
was
forgot.
like,
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So I remember he was really big into the music, and I remember we had an opportunity to bring someone. I remember if it was Thalia or it was one of the very famous, and
Right.
it was a meet and greet type of thing. And I remember, man, I mean, that place used to hold 1,800 people, like
1800. Yeah.
easily. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then our Thursdays, I don't know if you remember this. We used to do, let me say, yes, David Miranda. Thank you. David Miranda from Viva.
David
Yeah,
Miranda,
David
right?
Miranda
He was
from, from
at the
Viva, from Viva.
right. Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dynamico. Thank you. Yes, I couldn't. So it was
Dinámico. So, dude.
so I remember that was the whole thing. And then we started working with Viva, our radio station. I remember doing it
Wow.
on, and
Wow.
man, we were doing like a consistent 1,800 people almost every Thursday night.
Thursday, right?
It was almost, I mean, it was packed in there. And I'll never
Yeah,
forget, I'll never forget when I don't know if you remember that I started calling the events called rainbow events. I didn't use the word
mm-hmm.
gay, lesbian, bisexual, nothing
The
like.
rainbow.
I called it rainbow events.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, and I would tell everybody, I go, no, man. I go, yeah, there's gay people here, but there's more women here too, because they're hanging out with their girlfriends per
Yeah.
se. And my friends was like, hey, what place do you do? Can we pick up girls? I go, believe it or not, Circuit Nightclub.
Thicker
And they were like,
nightclub.
what? The gay club? I go, think about it. Think
right.
about it. They're hanging out with the boys that are not interested in. They're just
Not
there to
interested.
party and
Yeah,
to hang out, So you
yeah,
got
we'll go
plenty
to
of
dance.
chances to pick up a girl. Is it going to be a real girl? That's another question. That's another story.
another-
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, so it became a huge
Yeah,
success.
man.
And I
I only
remember
went
the
twice, and
Spanish
it
Rock.
was crowded, man. It was
Oh,
Thursday night twice, and I think I drove around like maybe like an hour to get parking. It was always packed, like you said. Yeah,
it was a big resurgence, and I remember that was like we were very happy because we created a different community.
definitely. Yeah,
I was still had my Fridays and Saturdays doing what I was doing. I still was doing my Tuesday night boxing on a Tuesday, and I was doing Rancho Luna
Rancho
on Monday
Luna. I
with the
remember
salsa
that. The
nights and
salsa,
stuff like that.
right?
I was doing
Everything, right?
I was busy doing like everything.
Everything.
Sounds like, but I just remember that the Spanish rock nights, and I remember, and then I still get it all the time. A lot of people from the generation of Club PM, the generation of
Right.
Palladium, the generation of the Circuit nightclub, some of the guys from V5 era and stuff like that. They're always talking to me about Spanish rock, where it's at today. So you tell me what's happening with Spanish rock in today's
It's
industry per se.
it's still going. There are a lot of new groups, of course, and this and that. That's like I told you, my friend Eduardo Calvillo, Resistol 5000, when he started he was bringing new groups and old school groups, right? So you will bring both crowds, the new the youngers, the new guys that like the rock en español, but there's different types of rock en español, and the old ones, of course. Last year, Enanitos Verdes and another person that I haven't heard of, and people were singing their songs. I mean, I don't even know who this group was. They played really good. I mean, it's still there. I got stuck. I got stuck with the retro. I stuck with the 80s and 90s because that's usually the crowd that follow me. They still go there once in a while, and like I was telling you, I was doing it once a month. More we're more adults. We have responsibilities and everything else. Sometimes I will just go. But now it's just like sometimes I retire a few times actually, and then I come back because people were asking me, when are you coming back? We miss your music and this and that. Like, well, there are rock and español parties out there, and like no, because they play, let's say 20 minutes, and then they play the rest of the. They even play reggaeton, those things, and like, well, and when I was doing it, some people will not be able to come because of responsibilities, and then you get, I mean, like I told you previously, you get burned out and you don't want to do it anymore. But I think now there are a lot of guys that is still doing it. Some Resistor 5000, Eduardo, and he has another guys that they're in their 20s, so they're pushing the rock in español. Nowadays, you have all these platforms, you have Facebook and this and that, so you got the facility of promoting even a little party or a concert. But before, flyers. Remember, you gotta go all around all the city to go and grab flyers. Right? It
Yep.
was like, oh, you gotta go to this suburb. There's a Latino community down there. Like it's like an hour away. I have friends from Aurora. I mean, I have it on Facebook, and they will come every weekend, every Saturday or Friday. They will come to see to hear rock en español. So when I saw this rock that is still going, I see people still coming from the suburbs, the new generation. So I think rock en español is gonna keep going. Especially with these platforms like Facebook and all those things. You have a lot of promotion, but it's not how can I say this? It's not appreciated as before. Before
And
they were,
why do you think that? So you just give me
I think a
you
lot
know.
of people complain about everything nowadays. A lot of people are so a lot of people are so sensitive, man. They get so sensitive,
Well,
Uh,
well, I think what happens is that, and I'm going to say this very honestly, Enrique. I
mhm.
think what has happened is that DJs tend to stop being creative in a
Yep.
sense of doing, and so if okay, and don't take this in the wrong way,
No, no, not at
anybody
all.
out there.
Right,
Um, if you're used to a certain thing on a consistent time, then that's what you expect for a certain time.
right.
But if the DJ is doing new stuff all the time and stuff like that, because I played what I wanted to look it up, but it was I played a bachata song, and there was a bachata song in particular that was sort of bachata-ish, cha-cha-ish,
Hmm.
kind of, they have, and then I mixed it into one of the Spanish rock songs,
Oh.
and I know it's a Spanish rock song. I know what it is. I'll look it up while we're talking. And I remember nobody. I mean, in the salsa scene or the bachata scene, you know, I'm
Never heard that
watching
song.
them. They're dancing bachata. They're dancing, the bachata to the song, and I'm like, oh my god, this is funny because 20 years ago. This was a huge,
A huge
like,
hit.
like
Yeah.
a huge hit in the what's it called. I think what's it mentira. I can't think of the name. Oh, by Lele, Mentira by Lele,
Ah. Okay.
Mentira by Lele. That's the one. That's the song that I
Ah.
would play.
That.
Yeah, yes, Mentira by Lele. So if you know the beat track, and so
Yeah.
I from the bachata, I went into that, and like I said, it's a cha 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 slash. I think it was more cha cha. It was more cha cha. Then I went into the Mentira, and I remember, seeing this group of saceros who are older, in their 50s,
Right.
and he's like, "Oh my God, this is a jam!" And obviously he's dancing not bachata, cha 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 anymore. He's dancing to like we would dance rock en español, right?
Wow.
But then, but the bachata people are still dancing bachata, and I just remember, like so I'm playing it, and just to me, it's just like that's the problem with some of the DJs because they don't know how to be creative and to throw it in to make things like sound new. It's old. There's some really good old stuff out there in the rock and español. But if you don't play it, and that's kind of one of the things I can honestly say. Like I didn't know a lot of stuff when it came to Spanish music, especially when it came to cumbia, zapatilla, all the music. And Alex would play some stuff, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds good. That sounds just not what I expected. And
Unexpected.
when you play that expected, I think that's where you're going to hear complaints from customers or
Hmm.
people because
Yeah.
they're like, well, I want to hear the three top Mana songs. That's it, or
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
hear the, they, like,
Because they're so accustomed
and
to, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think if you're playing, and I guess theme nights is important. I think
Definitely.
that people, if people like, I can see I think Club Enya was doing like a Spanish rock night, I think
They
for a
still
little bit.
do. I think they
Right,
do it.
right.
Yeah, I think they have a groups and everything else. Because the DJ there is awesome, man. Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
that was the first place that I heard rock in español in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, he was playing vinyls. Like, oh, that guy is the shit. Yeah,
So
I
yeah, a
think there's
vinylist.
yeah, there were a few guys that were playing there. Yeah, he was playing vinyls. It was something else. Yeah. When I started,
Yeah.
I wanted to play vinyls again, and this friend brought me maybe like 100 vinyls from Mexico. So we took it to a club where we had on Western, and place got robbed, and they took everything, man,
Ah,
everything. So that one hurts, yeah, because it was all the like the ones that I mentioned before, the Rock and Idioma label,
right.
all of them. I mean, hard to find and everything else. Like, oh man, that one hurt really bad. They're like, I'm not gonna play vinyls anymore. No, I just wanna. But sometimes when I see guys nowadays, you see guys playing vinyls, I'm like, oh man. DJ Resistor 5000, he has a lot of vinyls. The collection that we have. So every time that I saw this guy, we talk about rock en español and groups and this and that. He's the one who keeps me informed of the new rock en español. And because he travels to Spain, Colombia, he travels a lot. So he has the chance to, like I was telling you, to keep the rock en español going. He's one of the main ones because he's the producer of our Ruido Fest. But if we don't give support to this one, I don't know how long it's gonna last, honestly. Because some guys they're accustomed, like you said, to the old school stuff like that, which is the one that I play. But sometimes you want to play, for example, David de la Cruz, he tried to play a new rock en español, but people they don't they might just listen to it for a little bit, but again, it's because all the people that I know they're more old school rock en español. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just David Dinamico saying that a bachata artist did a tribute to Mana. I guess his name was Anthony. So I guess he did a lot of Spanish rock songs in bachata and stuff like that. And that
Oh,
was that was that was
wow.
kind of amazing to me because I remember when I was first got into bachata. I remember that was Alex again. Alex Dracula would tell me, "Oh man, this bachata music, the classic stuff,
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
old Luis Miguel songs. They were old, like
Yeah, the
they
more
were they
pop.
were all the classics,
Right,
and
right,
I
right,
guess
right.
that's where they got a lot of the music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They would do, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that, and and I guess these were old, and I know there was a point where even he would play the I want to say is rock it was rockabilly, kind of, not rockabilly, but it was like 60s Spanish rock, but it was 60s. So it almost sounded
Oh,
like
Enrique Guzman and all those things, all those guys. Yeah, rock of the 60s, rock de los 60s, yeah. But they have,
right, because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there was a big of that too as well. That kind of like rock 60s,
right,
that sounded like the old rock from the 60s here per se, the oldies but goodies
right.
type
Oh,
thing.
this is good, right, right. Well, Mexico was,
And
yeah, that was the were big hits. And I remember because I was raised with that music because my parents were dancing that type of music. It's more, this is Mexico again. So it was my parents' 60s and then us with the 80s. So that's how you start getting the generations. And like I was telling you, when we started here, we didn't know that there were a lot of people that were listening to this type of music. Some people that would travel to Mexico, they will hear this type of music, and they will come back here. They will go to our parties because they were asking, where's the rock en español? But it was hard to get so many people because once again, we didn't have so much internet, and like we mentioned before, the flyers, and you didn't know where to go. Sometimes the radio will give you a little chance, but sometimes they don't because they're like, this is not gonna be a good. Is that a good market to play on the radio? And all of a sudden, boom,
Right.
yeah, everything went up.
I know. I
Yeah,
remember. I remember the whole change when Viva changed over. Then they did the whole reggaeton kind of.
yeah,
They did the
yeah.
whole. I remember that was and I was there in the discussion when they were talking about changing the whole thing. They wanted to do the whole, and mind you, I did the reggaeton movement, but I was just
Right.
like, oh man, you're gonna do full reggaeton, and then I said, what about the rock en español? What about the bachata? What about the
Yeah.
salsa? And
Right.
Chicago's not a very good city when it comes to radio per se or radio
Right.
friendly. It's
Right.
not.
Right. Yeah. Definitely
It's
not.
pop, 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 and hip hop, and
True.
it's
You're
just
right. Yeah.
and then but there was but it's not. If you go to California, you go to Texas, you go to
New
Miami, New
York.
York, you got you
Yeah.
got you got oof, you got variety and stuff like that.
Variety. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and it's unfortunate because, but at the same time, I look at it as a plus to us, kind of,
Definitely.
because well, here, this is what, and I tell everybody this: I'm doing 5 nights a week at Chicago, because in technical terms, I'm the radio station for people who love tropical music. I'm
Definitely.
the radio
Yes. I
station.
know. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. So but at the same time, with Rock en Español, you've got to be the radio station as well. You're the
Mhm.
one that's got to do um, I have free time because this is all I do. But at the
Right.
same time, I think if for this to, because the Rock en Español is never going to die. It's never going to die. But it's like, if there's and I kind of look at it like freestyle, right? We all listen
Right.
to freestyle. We all love freestyle and stuff like that. But is there a club that's playing freestyle? No, they
No.
have concerts that do freestyle, but
But there's none. Right.
there's not a
There's no.
club that does freestyle.
Exactly. Yeah.
It isn't, and then they'll play freestyle, but there's not a club dedicated to
Definitely. Yeah.
freestyle.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what has to be done, is that you have these lounges that basically you know where to go. Here, this is
Yeah.
what it is, and here's what it is. Because honestly, if you've got 100 people going 5 days a week, that's fine. That's 500
Fine.
people
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah. No, it is. No, you're right. And sometimes it starts changing. I mean, with me, because the crowd stopped going because we start getting older, and uh, they don't want to go. This and that. They have other plans. So that's why I stopped doing the place on the north side. And it's like, okay, guys, I think it's time for me to take another break. But every time that I take a break, messages, calls, when are you having another party? I'm like, you guys, But it's like you said, it's in a specific place that you're gonna go and listen to a specific music. If it's gonna be rock and pop en
Right.
español, expect for that. Expect as you're expecting the people to hear that. But when they start asking you, oh, can you play this and that? Like, there are plenty of clubs to do that for you. Sorry, guys.
Well, thank you, Dinamico. He's confirming, because definitely right, Prieto. That's it, Dinamico. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, he says the lounges keep it alive, and I think that's
Yeah.
that goes. And I got to tell you something. I don't ever think that Tuesday night became Tuesday because I did it and that was
Right.
it. It
Right.
started off with the Mondays, and it started off with the Wednesdays, and
Right.
it just built and stuff like that. So obviously, that then there's salsa classes, and that's how Tuesday
Right.
it became bigger, because now
You're right.
I'm not just doing salsa. I'm doing a bachata room. I'm doing a kazumba room. I'm doing variety of stuff,
Variety.
outdoor
Right.
patio, and I'm doing a lot of things that are happening. 4 teachers a night. Unheard of live bands and stuff like that. So
Wow.
if and live bands on a Tuesday, if anything like that. So and I think that would work with the same thing with the Spanish rock scene. But people have to take the risk and have to
Yep.
really say, you know
Exactly.
what? Let's have the group come in on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, not always a Friday and Saturday, because honestly, Friday and Saturday, I think the city is so like in 25,000 different ways. on
I
a
know.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
as a
Yeah,
promoter, yeah, it's guaranteed that we're going to get 600 people. But you know, how in the way I look at it as a promoter mentality is that I want 600 people on a Wednesday that my expenses are like this much.
right. Exactly.
Then
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
Saturday night, expenses are like this much. So there's
it's true.
there's
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
difference in
A difference,
you
right?
getting getting renting a place and stuff like that, or
Yeah,
hey, guess what, you're not doing it on a Wednesday, let me have it, you have the bar, got the door, oh, we're good. Those are aspects that I look at.
definitely.
I think that if we can, I know for me, I'm always trying to show support.
Yeah,
I think that's where it's. I'm always supportive on the Spanish rock scene, as you know. I'm
definitely.
always
Yeah.
there, wherever you're DJing. If I can get a chance to go out, I'm always there and stuff
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
that's always welcome, Even though we take a little break of this and that, but like I was telling some of the other DJs, one of my DJs, he says like, "Oh, I'm tired of this and that." Like, you see, you're tired for playing so many years, and tired, and sometimes I'm tired because I'm playing for 28 plus years. So everything changes, of course. But again, I got some guys, some promoters like, "Hey, you want to do a night with us? It's gonna be a retro rock en español." I'm there because that's my main thing, even though if I do play the other music, but that's the only way that you keep it alive. But a lot of people, once again, that I know, they prefer the retro rock en español. And sometimes they will bring people, young people, and they like that. Some of my friends, they bring their own, they bring their own, how do you say it? Their own people or younger, even their. I have a friend. She brought her son. He was 21. He loved it. He said he was impressed with the music. People were dancing, singing, even at the tables. And like, well, this was our time. This was our music. So when you bring it live, like you said, even in launches, they have to expect that, because I don't want to say like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play you cumbia all night or cumbia this and that, because people are not going to see that. I mean, to hear that. Yeah,
So Enrique, it is 9 o'clock, a little after 9 o'clock. Any
definitely.
last words before we sign out?
No,
With
thank
you?
you.
Any?
Actually, thank you for having me. It was always nice to keep in touch with the old friends and you guys. I'm very proud of you, to be honest. You are one of the DJs that keep going, doing all these things. Like you said, sometimes I see you. I went to this place, Alhambra, where you are,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Tuesdays.
I was out, as long as I was walking in, a friend had an accident. It's like, I didn't have the chance to say hi to you, so I just left. And I've been trying to do all these things to go and see you guys, because honestly, you miss all those things. But basically, it's just like, thank you for having me, of course. And it's just bringing all these back memories of the rock en español when I started it. Like you said, you know who started all these movements, giving us the credit, with Sylvester and Javier, and also the other DJs. But thank you guys, actually, and some of my friends that are saying hi. Thank you. Saludos a todos, huevones. Mame. That's my phrase. No mames. Yeah. But thank you, Prieto. Seriously, it is.
Oh, is that is
It's,
that where is that where I got Alex saying it to me from you?
he says no mames to you, really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a place from Mexico, but it's just like, it's just, I want to thank you, seriously. It's very nice to talk to you. You're doing this, and you're doing a great job. I see some of the other interviews, and just keep going, man. Yeah, it's very nice to talk to you and
I
other guys.
appreciate
And
it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Well, I mean, you're one of the guys that started in this business, man. So I want people, like I said, I'm happy because if I'm going to reiterate this again, guys, and Enrique is one of these guys. We have all seen him playing for an hour, 2 hours, but now we know your history. We know you. We know everything about you, and I think that's important for Chicago to know
definitely.
who you are, Enrique, not
Thank you,
just
guys.
by you behind the laptop.
Right,
I need them to know who you are and where you started from and what
definitely.
made you who you why you're here today, why you're
No,
still
definitely,
here.
yeah. No, this
Okay.
is just a little thing that I wanted to do, and because some people, uh, they appreciate what I started with my friends, the rock en español, and that's how they remember you. A lot of the DJs like, oh, Enrique Tobias. the retro rock en español DJ, and it's nice. It's a good way of people recognizing the things that you do. And but again, thank you guys. Honestly, it was a pleasure being here with you guys.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. This is
Definitely.
the Front Door Show. Thank you.